It's deep. Yeah.
It's deep. I love it. I just be looking like,
Yeah.
Those are the
Tom,
best ones.
Tom's
The
sitting
deep
over
ones are
there.
always the best ones.
Yeah. 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 Tom, you really got to get it now, huh? Yeah.
and plus you're a deep poet, Tom, so you're gonna get it.
So I'd love to welcome everyone to the third edition of the English Literature Writers Conference. It's a pleasure to have Nico Gillespie, to have Tom Cleary, and to have Eric Bruce Smith. This is fantastic. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I would love to start from Eric. Should have a copy of The Eden Piece in Poems by Eric Brooks Smith here. So I will be reading his bio before handing over to him to pick it up from there. Eric Bruce Smith was born and raised in Oakland, CA. Eric is from an area on the Eastside known as Brookfield Village. Although it is depicted as a pretty tough neighborhood, it's never short in producing very talented individuals. Eric is a poet, writer, and enjoys playing several instruments. He has poetry work published in the Oakland Public Library, found under Images and Voices of the Gold Rush, edited by Joyce E. Young. This is a collaborative work made possibly by the Writers on Site program of Poet and Writers International 1998. Eric has noteworthy poetry work in book titled Reflections of the Soul, a collection of poetry published by the Poetry Guide, or HOI, 1997. The poem is titled In My Pocket, There is a Mirror. He has participated in poetry reading at Expression Gallery in Berkeley, made possible by the Bay Area Writing Project. He's a proud father of 3 beautiful children. His daughter, Serena Lea Smith, joined her father on this project by doing the cover artwork. Eric is excited about sharing this body of work and very pleased with his poetic contribution to literature. So I'm gonna hand over to Eric to pick it up from there and have a discussion, because I actually have a copy of his book here too with me, which I reviewed several months ago. And I left a link also in the discussion part of this video for viewers who love to check it out. So I hand over to you, Eric Bruce Smith. Welcome.
Yes, thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Yeah.
When I first started writing, I was in my teenage years, and I would write during times of bereavement and when someone had passed away. That's kind of how I got started on doing the poetry part of it. My brother was a minister and had me writing some small speeches and things for communion that I would get up and recite. And that's kind of how I got my start in me writing my ideas down, because he didn't help me with that. He just told me to jump in and do it. And so from there, I went into poetry. And it was kind of a way of release for me. Definitely when someone has passed away, your loved ones, things like that. And I would write, just people have their own way of grieving, but for me, writing was a good way, and it helped me, and not only helped me, it helped others when they asked me to read my work. So that's kind of how I got started. And then I went on and did some workshops and things. I would do little things like that. And it's kind of how I got into the Oakland Public Library. I was invited to this workshop. I had no idea they was going to put all the writers into the library. So kind of was surprised at the workshop. And at that time too, I learned more about myself as a writer. And tell me to write on a specific topic. And so I found out more things about myself, that I can handle things like that. And I knew that I had something special. So ever since then, life happens and things like that. And I kind of took a break from the writing as far as putting things out or trying to do anything, but I still wrote. But also, would do things like music and stuff like that, and always do my own anthology of poems. And so I was really happy to be able to do it over 50. And I wanted to inspire my children and let them know that, you know, you can dream at any age and go for your dreams. And so that's the part of really my message is that, never stop dreaming, never give up. And a big part of that word, never give up. And I've heard Peter in his writings and the Cry for Mercy, how he speaks about impediments a lot and things, obstacles or things that is in your way. And when I was in grade school, I had a speech impediment. And so I was in a special class for speech and English. And so to be able to sit here today and tell you I'm an author, that's really a big accomplishment for me. I think that it's a story that should be told, how I overcame. And yes, you don't give up. You never give up. And you fight for your dreams. You go for your dreams. And I'm just thankful that at my age now that I was able to do that and show my children that you can do this. You got this. Wherever you want to be, you can do it. So I think that for me, being the first, my first book and a self-published author, I think that that's really it in a nutshell. To be able to inspire others to let them know to never give up, and that's kind of my message.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's actually great because I actually did love your book when I read it, The Eden Peace and Fall. And the poetry compiled in them are quite great, especially the one that has to do with friendship, why friendship ends, and quite a lot of other words. So I'll be moving into the next speaker. I'd be moving into Tom Cleary. And I don't know if Tom, do you have a copy of your book there with you?
Actually, I have never published a book, but I have had a number of my poems in various anthologies.
Oh, yeah, I'd love you to tell us about that too, your writing and everything.
All right. I guess the reason why I haven't published a book on my poetry yet is because I don't think I have enough that I can really work with to put out something that is indicative of what I'd like to show. So to back it up a little bit, I think I would have to say that I started poetry back in high school. It was a challenge, I think, that one of our English teachers had put towards everybody. And I fell in love with poetry that first time. I just began writing it, enjoying it. And unfortunately, though, I had a number of different obstacles in my way in life, and I put that aside. And it's just only since I've been retired now that I've started working in poetry again. My poems deal basically with a lot of subject matter that involves how people relate to nature and how nature relates to us. Only because so many times I think people have got lost track of the fact that nature does a lot for us. We are a part of nature, and there's so many, it can teach us so many things. There's too many people that have just, well, for example, in this country, it's not surprising to run into somebody who decides or who believes actually that a chicken in the store is something that only you can find in a store. It doesn't exist outside of a store, which I thought was very ridiculous. But those are the type of things I like to also the fact that nature operates in cycles, and that's something that we have to realize is a fact of life, death, growth, disease, everything is a cycle. And once we realize that, we can accept life more and not fight it so much. I've also got a few poems that involve my own my own situation. Basically, I'm a gay man. I fought that for years. I didn't come out until my 50s. That was because for quite a number of years, being gay wasn't accepted in society. So I had to suppress it. I had to basically work against it, at the same time try to survive it. Those are basically my themes in a lot of poetry.
That's great. That's quite fantastic to know. Thanks for having and talking about it. And I'm hopeful that you get public someday.
Oh, I will. I have plans.
That would be great. And now I would actually ought to have an open discussion to be taken by Ren and German Brown, but I'll just throw that out since she's yet to join. But I'd love to move to the next author, Nicole Gillespie, and I'll be reading a short bio before I hand over to her to pick it up from there. Nicole Gillespie has been writing her soul out since the age of 11. However, she found a confidence as a writer and poet in her 40s, which pushed her to become an author of two excellent books, Transparent Moment, which I have a copy of it here with me, and Mirror's Reflection. This landed her the People's Choice Award of Kansas City for Best Author and a 5-star rating on Amazon. Her writing style is very emotional and expressive, which she is fearless about sharing. Nicole's first book of poems, Transparent Moment, is so precious to her, like a priceless treasure, like a priceless treasure instead. The reason is that many of the poems readers are reading were written at the time in her life. She felt no reason. She felt no one is listening. So she wrote them without fear of embarrassment or shame, because a reader were only her and God at that time. Every poem in her book, in her first book, is likened to a biography of her life. That is a raw and open as Nicole's second book, Mirror's Reflection. So I'll be adding over to Nicole Gillespie to talk about her writing and her book so far. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Peter. Well, my name is Nicole, and I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, United States of America. Yeah, I've been writing for a while now, and it was kind of my therapy, my self-therapy, my own personal voice that I kind of kept to myself. And people will always ask me, like, where do you write? And you always get your head stuck in pen and paper and all of that. And it took a long time for me to share because I was kind of intimidated or scared about what people would think or say. And I can remember going to a library one day, and this librarian, she asked me, could she read some of my poetry? So I went on and let her read some of my poetry, and she was just really taken back. And it kind of perked me up, like, wow, somebody finds something in it. And it just took off from there. And it just boosted I would never stop writing, but it just boosted my confidence to share, just to get other people's opinion, because I used to be scared of other people's opinion. And just to see the reaction from people and how they was kind of receptive to me in my writing, because it's kind of heavy, and it's kind of raw. In the first book, Transparent Moments, it was written down through the years because I was just collecting it and writing it myself. I was just writing it. And I can remember one of my friends saying, Nicole, you should just put it in a book. And that had always been my dream, was to do a book, but it was just a dream, or just fantasizing like, ooh, I would love to do a book. So she pushed me to go ahead on and do a book. And lo and behold, people loved it. They were so receptive to it. So, and it was very transparent. It talks about love, marriage, loss, religion, family, death. That's why I can kind of relate to Eric. I used to kind of pull back because I didn't want everybody to think I don't have happy moments in my life. But my writing is provoked by emotion or something heavy that has happened in my life. So that's why I wrote it. I was kind of scared to share with people because I didn't want them to look at it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, is she ever happy or anything? Well, learning this journey of poetry is so many different poets that had so many different writing styles. And it kind of made me more comfortable with my writing style because it is heavy. And I learned from a well-renowned poet. It's called Pathos. The poetry style is Pathos. It's kind of heavy. So yeah, so it made me just start writing even more freer. You know what I'm saying? Expressing myself even more freer. So like I said, Transparent Moments is written over a span of maybe 20 years. And it was just gathered poems that I put into a collection of collection of poems that I put into Transparent Moments. And people just was talking about how relatable it was and everything. And plus, I kind of write in metaphoric form. I kind of write between the lines because if you can get what I'm saying, then you understand me. And it's kind of sometimes a puzzle type style because I want you to get me. And that's my voice. And now I know I'm being heard because you understand me through my poetry because it's to me, a different type style of poetry. But like I said, more that I'm learning about poetry because I'm self-taught, self-learned poetry. I'm more open. I'm loving my style of poetry now because it's other poets like Eric, like he was just saying, he write out of different things like that. It helps me out. So now I'm just writing my soul out and everybody's loving it, just like Mirror's Reflection. Mirror's Reflection is talking about basically it's one called Redemptor's Cry. It's a chapter in here called Redemptor's Cry, and I love this chapter because it speaks on religion. My personal struggle last year with staying on the right track with God and how it burdened me that I was straddling the fence. You know what I'm saying? So I will write about that. I will write about my struggles of my cry to God in poetic form about my struggles. Then my different moods, the moods, broken heartedness, and just and there's one in there called Humanity, and I love it. The chapter is called Humanity, and I wrote that because it was during the time of COVID, and I've seen a lot of things transpire in COVID, like people's character, their personality, and different things like that, and it made me think about humanity and the character of humanity and how we treat each other and different things like that. So that chapter was provoked by experiencing things that I saw during COVID and how we treat each other during COVID and the stress that happened during that time. Some of the poems are relating to that, or personal issues about friendship. And I wrote about friendship. There's one poem in there called Frenemy. And it just, I just write out of my soul different experiences and different things like that. Sorry, I'm just a little nervous. That's it.
That's fantastic. That's very great. And I haven't read your book actually. I did love it. I read Transparent Moment. I reviewed it, I think, over a year ago. Yeah, a year.
Yes,
ago.
sir.
And it's quite very amazing when I actually did read it. Thank you for talking about your book and adding that to it too. So I'll be moving into the next section, and it's more or less like an open discussion for everyone to bring in their ideas. I've been wanting, and this is something I've been asking since the commencement of the conference, that how exactly do authors become a bestseller? I'd love, ideas coming in. What do you think make author to become bestsellers? What are those qualities we should look out for in terms of being an author that you think make authors to become a bestseller? Or did they just wake up in a day and become a bestseller? So I'd love anyone, if you have an idea, just bring it up and share with us what you think contribute to authors becoming a bestseller.
Well, I haven't become a bestseller yet, but I'm learning now to I think the more that I sell, not just my book, myself, I have to learn to come out and sell myself, tell my story, be 100% authentic. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but as a writer or author, that's what it's about. You putting yourself out there, you being very authentic. So I think that's along the lines of becoming a bestseller. First, they got to get to know you, because there's many of people out here that's selling books, all kinds of books. So it's kind of like you in a race, not that you trying to compete against them. You just trying to be validated, or, say, hey, here I am.
Mm.
So that's what I'm learning. I'm learning how to just really sell myself. Really, I didn't came out of my shell. My comfort zone is totally dismantled at this point. And I learned, the more I put myself out there, the more people pour towards you and get to know you, then they'll start buying. I done had a couple of experiences with being on a radio show, Quintessentials, listening, and I love that show. And I learned when you go on them different shows and express yourself or sell yourself, or people get to know you, your sales go up. So it's like you taking small steps towards that. No, it don't happen overnight. It don't even happen a year or two, but it gradually goes up. So I'm trying to figure out how to become a bestseller if that's God's will for my life.
Wow, I love your ideas. I love your ideas. They're well grounded. Yeah, any more ideas from any more?
I like what Nicole said, and I think connecting with people, that's what I took from a lot from what she just said, that you really have to know how to do it and get out there and let people see the real you, let people see who you are, and then you can grow your audience. So I think that's the big part of it, is growing your audience. For me, being a first time author, so I don't, I'm not in that realm of bestseller, yet, or if they even going to happen. I'm not really worried about it. I think that I look at bestseller, I compare it to success, and I think that I am successful. I don't have to be, a best-selling author to be successful, to feel successful. I feel successful because of my accomplishments. So
Mm.
I'm not that worried. Like you said, gradually, it's things you need to do though. Like she's as an author, gradually you need to work on the different social medias, connecting with people. Like she said, doing an interview, going on shows. I think a lot of those type of things will get people to connect with you. And she's correct. And it may take time. It might just be timing that points to or directs to your success. And some people say, oh, it's your time. And maybe your time don't come till 2 years later after you launch your book. Maybe your time don't come till 3 years later after you launch your book. So it's something that you don't ponder on. You keep moving, you keep writing, you keep learning, you keep
Yes,
growing, you keep
yes.
creating. That's success.
I don't know if Tom have something else to add to Heed.
Well, I think basically when you're talking about anything that's being written, there aren't any ideas out there that haven't already been written about. It's the way you write about an idea that comes across best to people. And I think a lot of times people who are, I wouldn't say blunt, but I would say they don't leave any stones unturned. They expose themselves completely. Those are the people that others have a tendency to relate to. Because if you try to kind of soft pedal yourself, the reader will see through that and it won't resonate with them truly. You have to be very brutally honest with yourself.
That's true, because I think you become a voice for the people, because some people are scared express themselves or tell their inner secrets or their woes, or so when you're a writer, you're kind of open and you become kind of relatable, and when you become that voice, that's what draws people in, because oh yeah, that's how I'm feeling, or yes, that's what I've been through. So that's why I always say it's very important to be authentic, because you carrying your voice, but you're speaking for other people too, unknowingly, but it happens because that has been my experience. So yeah, true.
This is something that I've been thinking about over and over again. I've been pondering about it. That why is it? Because I think that's one of the reasons why I upped English literature up, because I discovered that quite a lot of books, they're not like one of the speakers said in the previous conference that being a bestseller doesn't make you a better writer, something like that. But it's just as if that it's just that your work is in the media, is available, it has a lot of exposure. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of think of it that there are quite a lot of books that are very good, but they languish in silence. Nobody know them. Nobody know the author. And they're just there in silence. Nobody gets to know them. Why other ones are doing very well. And I've come to ponder on it. How exactly do the authors become a bestseller? Because like some people that I follow on social media, they can have a book published yesterday and they'll just put up a post and said, hi, I have 200 copies already ordered. Thank you all for. Or someone say they have 300 copies. Somebody say they have 300 copies already ordered. I'll be like, oh my God, how did these people do this?
How? Yes. Please show me the manual.
It's very, very, it's actually fun, actually, because I just go there and say, wow, congratulations. But I've been always wondering how exactly do people become a bestseller? And I know it actually has to do with craft, has to do with you exposing yourself, like you've all said, and getting your work out there, doing it over and over again, just that it might take some timing and something like that. So it's
another thing. One other thing I just happened to think of too, not only exposing yourself, but also explaining to the reader, either through a poem or a story, that same experience, but in a way nobody else has explained it before. In other words, if you're talking, like in terms of metaphors, use a metaphor that most people wouldn't even think of using. But once they see it, they make the connection.
Right. Exactly.
That's basically staying unique, to be unique in your style of writing, in your way, and to be different from the way other people does their things, stuff like that.
I have experienced advice like that. People want to kind of change up sometime, and they don't mean no harm by it because they might have been doing business or being in a author longer than you. But the thing is, you want to keep your authenticity. You want to be who you are. And I tell people all the time, it's not about the money for me. It's about the message. Now, God said your gift will make room for you. And I wait patiently for that. But it's about the message. I tell my kids all the time, I thank God that I got to experience this, and I'm still yet experiencing more things. And I thank God for that. But it's about the message. I don't want to lose my passion. I don't want to get caught up in so much of the business part of it. And I forgot about the reason why I wrote in the first place, or it's not therapy no more to me, or I don't want to become a disgruntled poet. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that to change because I'm always write because that's my form of relief. But I don't want that to change me. You get so caught up in the business, so caught up in trying to sell books or different things like that, that you lose yourself in that. I just want to stay authentic to my craft, to writing.
I totally agree with you.
Peter, what I wanted to add when you said about how the person gets 200 books sold, and if we look at it as numbers, you look at your real followers, and if a person had 2,000 followers, well then 10%, that 10% were real followers, and they went on and bought their book, and they probably will buy just about anything they put out because they liked that author that they're following. They like their work, and like you said, authenticity of it. They like the quality, and they're keepers. So when you have followers like that, that follow you, or those that will buy your work, real keepers like that, they're going to always be there. And I think that's something that I have to learn how to build that up. Um, and they say, you can do it through the email exchange and things like that. So there's a lot of other avenues how you can build that up, but I have to venture more into that. But right now, I'm just satisfied and thankful to make it this far, to
Yes.
be invited on this platform, to
Yes.
be able to share the inside story of myself. I learned something about Nicole, and she's up get on here and share herself, and Tom, and we all have our own road we have to travel. Back again in your book, Cry for Mercy, we talk about those obstacles. We all had
Yes.
obstacles to get over, and how we're going to deal with them. And the thing about it, they keep coming. So we need to get stronger and better to deal with each one that's coming. So we have to learn to be smarter and know it before you enter the room, what's going to happen. And so we are already prepared that way, we'll do well. It's when you be surprised. We have to know now that this is how life goes. Be ready for those surprises. Be ready for those obstacles. Have a plan.
I agree with you completely, Peter. The day there's no more obstacles is the day you leave the earth.
Yeah.
And we just added them by becoming Arthur.
Yeah. Yeah. You added more.
Nicole. That's quite exciting, because one of the things I discovered about this authorship of a thing is that once you have a book that has a good text that picks up for the first time, like people get to know the first book and it performed very well, it would entice them to want to check out if you have other ones. Like, does he have another book? Does she have another one there that I would love to pick up? And that's how I think it's more or less like it contacts one another. Like the source of one contact the next one, and influence the third one, influence the fourth one, and influence whatsoever you keep publishing. That people will be expecting what is coming up next with.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how the whole thing goes with.
Yeah. I've experienced that some people been asking me about my third book. It does. It keeps going. But the pressure from that, because if your first book was very receptive, your second book was receptive, that pressure you, like, how they're going to feel about the third book. Because we all know all your books that you write is not going to be received the same way. Some might do good, some might not do good. But that's on the author. That's the weight on the back. But the obstacles, but you still have to keep pushing. And maybe that's the way you can run into a bestseller. One of the books is going to hit, maybe, if you do it right. It's not an expectation of all the books is going to do right. But like you were saying, Peter, the connection. One book, then another book, then another book. But that's where the pressure comes in at. And you have to get past that obstacle of, oh, what if? Because if your mind be so bogged down, what if they don't like this? What if they don't like that? Then you can't get to the next book, to write the next book in hopes of becoming the next bestseller. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Perfect sense.
I have a question, Peter, for you.
Yeah.
You have like 4 or 5 books out now?
I currently have one.
Is that the total books you have?
The first one is Taxi of the Dead. That's the one I published 2020. Then the second one was Fate in the Dungeon of Doom. I think Nicole has a copy there. I don't have a copy here, but I give them all out. Then I have the third one.
Okay.
I have the third one. Yeah,
okay.
That's Fate in the Dungeon of Doom. That's Fate there.
Yeah.
Then I have Whose Fault, Kismet and Impediment. That's about the connection between obstacle and destiny. That's a third one. And the fourth one is A Cry for Mercy, that I'm sure you have a copy there with you too. Then I have the fifth one coming up this month ending. And the other ones too.
Look at you.
Yeah, the whole series have actually been made. I just want to give it a gap application so it can, rest a bit, like 2 month interval. before having the other one out. I'm actually complete with all of the books. And I'm currently working, yeah.
Congratulations.
So
Thank you. I have an interest. I'm currently working on a book, A Dirge in Time of War. This is like a non-fiction poetry about it's about war across African countries. It was inspired when I read the book, The Pod Fire Not from the Sky. It was inspired when I read about this, The Pod Fire Not from the Sky. So I'm writing A Dirge in Time of War to mourn the soul of people who have lost their life to wars across African countries. Talk about, because most of the people that are victims of war in Africa are mostly children, are mostly women, and people that doesn't even know why people are fighting war. Innocent children, innocent lives. So this was a war experience in Sudan. It was written by 3 authors, and it's very sad, tearful, and very painful. Very, very painful. So I'm working on A Dirge in Time of War, and I'm really excited about the project. Probably that should be up in next year. Yeah, so that's amazing. I think that'll be fine. I don't know if anyone is working on another book. If you have any book you're working on, you can talk about that too. That'll be great.
So
and I'm working on, sorry. And I'm hopeful that A Dirge in Time of War will make me a bestseller.
I hope so.
You're gonna get there, Peter. You're gonna get there. I promise you, Lord.
So Peter, my question, I was going to ask you about pressure. Nicole talked about pressure. Did you feel pressure? But it seems to me that you're always staying 1 or 2 steps ahead. So I don't think that a pressure is applied to you.
Absolutely. I just get it moving. Honestly, it's something I enjoy doing and something I love doing, and just love putting it out there. Once I have one published, I keep working on the next one and another one and another one. I've got a lot of things to write about. There's a lot of stories to tell. There's a lot of information to convey to the world out there.
Is it all poetry? Is it all poetry? All your books?
So far, they've been poetry.
But you were like a novel. I think I've heard you speak of doing a novel.
Yeah, I have one coming up. I've been working on it since 2019. It Turns Destiny. I'm currently at chapter 9. I should have it published. I don't know. It's taking a long way. It's taking a long way, but I'm working on that too. It's going to be a fantastic novel, and I'm excited about it. So I've been writing the novel since 2019, and yeah, I've just been lazy with it.
Wow.
I think.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So I am working on a 3rd book, but the only thing I can do is get to the intro. To get past it, because it's not just going to be poetry, it's going to be almost written like a life story, but I don't want it to be structural. I want it to be very creative, and I'm gonna have poetry laced in between each story, so it can, in my thinking, can grab the audience. So yeah, I'm working on a 3rd book, but it's not coming as easy as just doing poetry, because poetry is just the flow of the spirit. And so yeah, I find it kind of difficult at this point. So instead of it coming out within 6 months to a year, probably take a little bit longer than that. Hopefully not, but yeah, I'm working on a 3rd book too.
In my book, my 2nd chapter, I did a lot of short stories in there, kind of mixed with, kind of like what you're saying.
Yes.
I think yours is going to be structured a little different, but I found a nice balance doing that. And a lot of people liked it. They liked the short stories mixed in with the poetry.
Yes, I need to get it. I need to look at it.
Yeah,
so
I need your book too. That's why we're here, right?
Yes. I'm really enjoying this conference. I was kind of nervous. I always get nervous before I start, but that's good because it keeps you humble. But yeah, but I'm enjoying it, and I like the fact that everybody's speaking about their age, because I started at 40 to become an author. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, did I start too late or whatever? But I mean, seeing that you said you started yours later on, and Tom, he started his later on, but Peter, he a young thing, but he's doing great things. But it makes me comfortable
Mhm.
Just being in this arena as an author and learning business is such a new thing, but you find so much, you learn so much and you meet so many people. You know, sometimes being a poet in my situation, you kind of feel like you don't fit in. You know what I'm saying? But then when you find a world where you find other poets and different things like that, you like, I don't feel like a fish out of water anymore. Because, you know, sometimes we can be a little eccentric. We can be a little bit empathic or introverted to ourselves because, you know, that's how we are. But to be in this new arena for me, I love it because I feel a little bit more freer to be who I am and express myself the way that I do through writing and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, and you can actually be an author at any time. I have someone starting by 60 years, 55, 70. So there's no, you don't take late comma in terms of being an author.
Yes.
I always use my model as the painter. I don't know if you've heard of Grandma Moses. She didn't start until she was in her 70s.
Mm.
And she lived to be 100, so she had a good stretch where she produced. And I'm hoping I can hang in there for a while. I'll be 74 in December, so
Hey,
I expect to do a lot more poetry.
Wow.
I'm ready for the book. Come on out with the book.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
good. That's good.
Wow. That's amazing.
Well, how about talking about writer's block?
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I think that is what is wrong with me. I wouldn't say that's what is wrong with me actually, in terms of my novel, but I just think I've been lazy about it. I've been, in my bio, I had it soon to be novelist of a change justice. Someone asked me one day, I said, Peter, you're always soon to be novelist. When is the novel coming up? I was like, okay, I'm still working on it. Chapter 9 over since 2019. And one funny thing is that, was it last month? I picked it up, I checked it on my laptop, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Did I wrote all of this? Is really amazing. And I was like, I think I need to keep doing more and more. But I think it's all about creating time. Time, that's one of my challenges. Even if it's like 15 minutes or 20 minutes every day, that's how you get to improve because you can't just find the time and sit there and say you want to do it. You have to sit there and, even if it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes on daily basis, you devote to writing. So I think maybe I would love to call that writer's block. Actually, I have all the whole idea of the story in my head. I have the whole idea. Sometimes I'm even afraid not to forget. I was like, no problem, I can't forget. Once I forget, I rewind and pick it up from where I stopped. So I don't know if that is writer's block. So yeah, let's talk about writer's block. Maybe I can relate to that.
Right. That's kind of wild because I just wrote a poem about writer's block if y'all want to hear it.
Oh, yes.
It's literally talking about this. I'm gonna go, and it was right there. Maybe God wanted me to do that. But anyway, it's called writer's block with a question mark because is it writer's block? So I'm gonna try to recite it. I'm never at a loss for words, but at times my soul denies me access to them, putting them away into my heart's vault with lock and key, dismissing my voice entries into my hand, leaving me frustrated with readiness that has been denied. It's almost like writer's block, but really not, because the words is on the tips of my tongue's fingers, ready. Because the words is on the tips of my fingers' tongue, ready. Yet I cannot compose them into words because my soul is saying no. This leaves me anxious, feeling like this vernacular is going to be a missed opportunity to express my inkling, passions, secrets, oracles, joys, and pains. From within my interior self speaking out through my exterior self. I do not mind being turned inside out. Exposure is a form of relief for me. It says that I am human. Yet I must wait for my soul's permission to open up this vote that actually belongs to me. The truth is, we both know what's best for us. So I respect my soul's decision and not today and get some rest.
Wow.
So what I was trying to say is
amazing.
sometimes, I'm sorry I read it so fast when you said that it kind of, because I was,
can get it.
yeah,
I can
yeah,
get
I was
it.
having writer's block, I thought. But I was so busy, had so much stuff going on and different things. It was like my soul said, no, for you to write freely, you need to get some rest so it can flow. So get some rest. It's not all the time about the writing. It's not all the time about getting this out. It's about the rest so you can rest your spirit and your mind. Then after you rest it up, because you know you're at your best, and then there you go. It flows out after rest. Get some rest.
That's good. Because if you're shooting for a number, you might lose the quality. But you be patient and wait. Like you said, the soul, you wait for your soul to will you into the things that you want to put down, the things that you want to release. Then it goes from heart to heart. And
Yeah.
that's what we want. We want that connection.
You got it, Peter. Them books be slamming. So that novel that come out, excuse me, y'all. That novel that come out is gonna be beautiful. I can't wait.
The other thing I've noticed too is that sometimes when you do have a writer's block, if you pay attention, observe, and watch what's around you, sometimes you can pick up something that will actually be the key to what you need to unlock what you're trying to express but can't.
And I can really relate to all of your lyrics, Nicole. The lyrics of your poems, they are very nice. I think if you read a line, you can sit down and resonate on it and think about it and read the next line and said, oh, this is what she's trying to say. So I do love it. I can relate to most of those, the things you say. And I think that's your word at your back, right? Your word standing right behind you there.
Yeah.
Oh.
People's Choice Award of Kansas City for Best Author.
Wow.
That's nice. Congratulations.
Wow, that's nice.
It's one of my proudest moments. It was one of my proudest moments as an author. It blew my mind. I was at work one day and somebody called me up at work. People start calling me up at work and said, hey, congratulations. And I'm like, congratulations for what? They said, well, Nicole, you made it to the semifinals. I didn't even know that I was a candidate. So I started calling around because I didn't know what to do. So then the second vote came around and it was a big thing here in Kansas City. And everybody's watching on the internet. And they called my name as a finalist for Best Author. It blew my mind. So that took me to the People's Choice Award. And then being there, and they called my name and put my name up on the big old thing. And they said Nicole won for Best Author, Nicole Gillespie for Best Author. Blew my mind. I just could cover my ears and close my eyes because it was so unreal. But it was a blessing. It was a blessing.
Yeah.
Just to make it to the semifinals did something for me. It boosted me. It was enough. It was enough that somebody took that ballot and put my name on that ballot. It was enough because, being an author, you don't know people tell you that, but to take it to a height where you get a award for it and your People's Choice Award for being an author of only 2 years, really almost 2 years, a year and some months. It blew my mind. I was like, whoa, it took me back. It boosted my confidence and it let me know I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It just blew my mind. God was just showing me what was in me.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's great. And I think winning an award, it's something like it's like an encouragement to authors. Or if you, at the time whenever you have an award won, and it will encourage you to do more. Like, wow,
Yes.
really? I can't believe this. So it's a very great way to motivate authors and something that would love to boost you and make you do more. So it's really a great one, and I'm saying congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations to you too.
Congratulations to everybody.
Yes, everybody.
You're all hard workers and you deserve the congratulations.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a great one. So I don't know if you also have another thing to say about writer's block, or we have another topic to discuss before we round up.
No other topic. I'm following y'all.
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
I think we can do a poetry citation of our works, like just one poems, Yeah, and from there we'll end it. So if you have a copy of your poem you would love to recite, you can just spend some few minutes and do the recitation. I would also love to recite from my own side here too. So you can just get your work together. Anyone you would love to recite, put it up and
Does anybody want to start or
You can start,
Or-
Mr. Tom.
You can start, Tom.
okay? Okay, mine tend to be rather on the short side, and this one's called Ripples. The iambic feet of time rhythmically lull us into tenuously tied cradles hung from treetops, whose very lives depend on ever-expanding rings, much as the ripples in a pond, until our lives, cut down and hewn, transform the boxes into which others store us as memories, for even waves reach ashore.
Love it.
Thank you.
Nice, very good.
that's amazing.
Show the recycle of nature down to a box and people packing stuff in it with memories. I get it. I love it.
Thank you very much. I try to compact my ideas into a poem, so it's not kind of like you read it and it only means one thing. I like it when it can mean more than one thing at the same time.
That's great. So who is reciting next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to read my first poem in the book called Introduction Poem, and it's called Blackbird in a Cement Jungle.
Mm.
Okay, sorry about that. Blackbird in a Cement Jungle. I'm high over the top of the hot wires as the rays burn through the leaves. Swing, miss again, and a swing. Lunge, and pull back, then scuffles. Silence. As the sun meets the earth again, I lift from the street liquor.
Mm.
Blade cuts through the air as the vitals are untouched. Great sounds of laughter vibrate my wings. Bare feet never touch the ground. Look at them go. Now she is gone. He is gone. The boy is gone. The girl is gone. They're all gone.
Mm.
I finally come down and something impacts my resting state. Blood, glass, pain, and an outward cry heard by many. After I open my eyes, I'm already in a free fall. I breathe in life from each passing of the arm. I survived this round. I overcame the darkened streets as I looked the blackbird straight in the eyes. My heart says, thank you for preparing me. From jungle bird to jungle boy, roaming the cement jungle, we conquer. This is the twists and turns of life through the eyes of a blackbird in a cement jungle.
Mm.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Fantastic. I like that.
So
Thank
you
you.
say you from Chicago? Eric?
Oakland, California.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Man, that's deep. I love the way you use your words. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
The metaphors. It draws me in. When I hear that, it makes you think, but you get it. I get it. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Your pictures are very clear.
Yes.
Peter,
Yeah, I would love to.
may I
Okay.
share one more poem?
Yeah,
It's
sure,
a
you
poem
can.
that, okay, thank you. It's a poem that is why I'm going into my second book. It's a
Oh,
poem that leads into my second book. Okay,
yeah.
thank you. It's titled Smile While You Can. Smile while you can. Laugh while you can. Try to hold joy hostage as long as you can. Expressions of happiness are not always guaranteed on this side of life. When struggles come, hold on and stay focused. Don't forget what that joy of laughter felt like. Get it back. Make it come back. Take it back. Soon enough, you will be able to breathe again, smile again, and laugh again. When you get it back, cherish it and embrace it. By all means, never let go of it. So let me see it. Let us see that smile. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you laugh for a good while? Please do it. Do it while you can. Do it again and again.
That's great.
And
I
and
love
I
the
actually
simple. I love the simple everyday language you use. It's so effective.
and I think what you're hearing in there, the reason why I wrote that poem was when my son was in grade school, and I actually had wrote that in the car before I went in. It was share day for my son, and I wanted to surprise him and write a poem. It was his day. They had like for his birthday, so it was his day. So I wanted to share a poem, and I wrote that in the car before I went in to his little party, and I read it, and I wanted to connect, connect with the children. So that's why what you said, Tom, you can, what it sounds and what it feels, because I knew I was also addressing the children, and that's why it sounds so, pure.
And I can see why they'd relate to it so easily.
Right.
That's great. I would love to go
Glad
ahead.
you did.
I'd love to recite. My poems are always long, so I'm finding a short one to recite, so I can make it very clear. I have a conversation with obstacle that I would have loved to recite, but it's too long. But I have another one, whose fault, fate or mine. That too is too long. But I'll just stop at reciting intercession. Yeah, I think that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4.5 page. So intercession goes like this. I'm reciting this from the recent book, Cry for Mercy. Yeah, so I'll be reading intercession. It goes like this. Dear God, I write to you on behalf of my friend who suffers from extreme delay. He has severely suffered from inveterate failures, and most of the things he planned never come true. I don't know if his grief is natural or some wicked forces wrestled against him. My friend is hopeless, dejected, and desperate. The last time I visited him, he was shedding streams of tears and thought that he wasn't created for something good on earth. I beseech you to attend to him, for he's on the verge of a handmaid death. I know that there is no knot too hard for you to crack. I know you meant good for him. I just don't know why he yet suffer in misery. Dear God, look into his pain and grant him his heart desires. Help him so that he won't die without realizing your purpose for his life. My friend is dying of shattered hopes. His failures have been derided by men. He has been forsaken by most people. He has suffered in shame of association. He has cried and even got tired of shedding tears. God, are you intentional about this trouble? If so be, please minister to him before the devil deceives him. He told me of how he hated his own life. He said he wished that he wasn't built at all. God, did you hear him say that, or I tell lie? He's frustrated of your purpose of creating him. His penury and anguish have blindfolded him to believe that you care no more. I persuaded him to cheer up and believe that he is an overcomer despite all that happens. but the scars of failures and obstacles are yet to be healed from his heart. His misfortune are like the arrows of hell. I beseech you, dear God, speak to him in the language he best understand. I've comforted my friend to the best of my ability, but he seemed to have given up totally. My words of encouragement are no longer effective. His hope has been shattered, and his life is an habitual distortion. He has suffered from harrowing delay, and his faith for a good life is dead. That is why I write to you on his behalf, that you save him from the arrows of the devil, that you hasten, extirp, and loose the shackles of impediment that binds his glorious future to the sorrows of setback. I beseech you, dear God, let him know that you are aware of his misery. Let him know that you know why he suffers from unbeknownst impediment. Let him know that his pain is only for a while, because if it is late before he realizes, he might kill himself and die a miserable death. Dear God, show him the reason why impediment wrestled with his faith. Show him the reason why those failures come his way. Let him know why the easy things are difficult for him to achieve. For my friend is down in the dumps and his breath inconvenient him. He told me of how he cannot yet boast of a thing, questioning the essence of his life that is full of setback, rejection, and sorrows, asking if it's a text of faith or something else. I have done everything in my power to feed him with words of encouragement, yet I failed at consoling him. That is why I passionately intercede on his behalf. Dear God, consider his tears and change his name. That's intercession from a cry for mercy.
I love it. It's, to me, it's
Very
like
good.
it's like a prayer. Like you standing in the gap for your friend. I just love it. I love that. When I read that, I was like, oh yes. How many of us stand in the gap for our friends and pray for them? But the way you put it, the words you put it, like it blew my mind. I love it. I love it. I love it, Jeremiah. That's the weeping prophet that's in the Bible. I love it. Oh, this one is called Creature of Habit. This was from Proud Redemption when I was struggling with my Christianity, just straddling the fence, feeling in a backslidden state. Being a creature of habit in a minefield filled with rabbit holes is numbing, especially in a ritualistic contentment type way. I could never tell you how I made it here, but it seems that I always wake up in the middle of the minefield filled with rabbit holes, confused with tied hard behind my back. I used to wake up sweaty, fearful, with racing heart. Now I just wake up like, dang, I'm here again. Sometimes I roll over and go back to sleep with one hand in one of the rabbit holes, like it's a cookie, as if it's a cookie jar, almost totally relaxed. It happens more often now. It's almost comfortable, especially in a normalized, realistic type of way. I'm wondering if I'm looking like the world now.
That's great.
Wow.
Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, just I wanted to use the metaphor of the rabbit hole, because you know the metaphor of going down a rabbit hole and a minefield and a creature of habit, because a creature of habit always do the same thing over and over again. But this creature of habit is in a minefield filled with rabbit holes. At first it was a struggle, but now the fear of it, now the person is totally relaxed with their hand in a minefield, in a cookie jar, in the rabbit hole in a cookie jar. And I wanted people to get the visual of it. I wanted them to literally get the visual of it.
You did, very definitely.
Very good. Yeah.
It's kind of like a temptation, but with a trap involved in it.
Man, you hear me?
I have one more I could read if we have time.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. It's called Oracles. A sterile, sodden sun salutes a grim, greedy globe at the broken dawn. Flights of falcons, fertile fields flowing in the wind, found at one time a fortune, are no more. Glistening of green, once nature's own denomination, has been devalued to a few denuded leafy denizens as impoverished forested favelas fumbling for relief. Find but drips of donated dollars just to dig roots into banks of ravished, rotted rivers, an aborted afterthought in avarice. Crows, for centuries, the centuries of oracular occurrences, always able to read faces and future phases, foretell man's famine. For without our mother, we are fish without fins, birds and broken wings. Nature are naked, shivering winter trees, never to bloom. Yet we persist in our belief we are our own gods.
That's great.
Wow.
That's fantastic, Tom.
Man,
Great.
I love it.
Great. Yeah, he needs to
Where's
do
the
his
book, please?
Yeah, he
Where's
needs to
the
do his book.
Right.
Well, speaking
Wow.
about that, I have to get the names of your books because I'd like to be able to buy them if I can.
Transparent.
Yeah.
Moment.
Oh,
All three of them. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm very, very impressed by what I've heard.
Yeah, we have quite a lot of amazing poetry recitation. And I never even saw it coming that we are all poets. That's a great one.
Wow.
Love it.
Well, Peter,
Yeah.
I would like to share my review of A Cry for Mercy, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. This is my Amazon review.
Okay.
If obstacles are the way to fate, how about those who left me in my days of throes? If hurdles is the pain to fortune, why does it block me every minute of breakthrough? This excerpt from Peter Akawando book, A Cry for Mercy, reaches to the deeper inner parts of our souls. He speaks the words loudly that we only think and not even whisper. This excerpt is taken from his poem titled A Conversation with Obstacle.
Wow.
This is definitely my favorite poem from his masterpiece of literature. Peter shares his talents in a way that takes you a closer look inside yourself. Everything is questioned while answers are desperately sought. He delivers the goods and only seeks your divine attention. On some stanzas, he may seem to speak in the voice of Job and David of the Holy Scriptures. Believe me, Peter has written and displayed his own proclamation and understanding of life and its endangerments. Other poems that stood out for me were In the Dungeon of Despair and A Letter to My Flesh. The work as a whole is thought-provoking and intriguing. This is a powerful and enjoyable read.
Wow, that makes me blush.
Yes.
Thank you
He
so
captured
much.
you.
Thank you so
Yes, he captured you in that review. I agree with it 100%. Oh my God.
Yes.
It is so deep. It really is.
It's deep, yeah.
It's deep. I love it. I just be looking like,
Yeah, Tom's sitting over there.
The best one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Tom, you really got to get it now, huh? Yeah.
and plus you're a deep poet, Tom, so you're gonna get it. You heavy.
Yeah.
And Peter's stuff is heavy. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for the encouragement. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. I really appreciate you. And thank you so much. I'm more than grateful. And as such, I would love to thank everybody for coming and participating in the third edition of the Writers Conference. Thank you so much. It's been amazing having a conversation with everybody. It's been amazing sharing ideas. It's been amazing sharing our poetry and our work so far. And I left a link to the works of everybody in the description part of this video for viewers who would love to check them out. Thank you once again, Nicole Gillespie. Thank you, Tom Clary. Thank you, Eric Bruce Smith, for coming on the show. It's a pleasure having you all here.
It was a pleasure to be invited.
Pleasure to,
Thank you
yeah,
for
thank
inviting
you.
me.
Honor to be here. Thank
It
you.
was an honor to be here too.
Yeah, end the call now. And
Okay.
I will have it published probably in the next 4 days. I'll send the link once it's up.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Thank you very
everybody.
much.
thank you so
Nice
much.
meeting
Enjoyed
all
y'all.
of you.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye,
Tom, I
y'all.
want your book. Please get your book, Tom.
Yep. Get it, Tom.
Okay.
Get it.
I will.
Okay.
Well, I will.
See you guys.
Yeah, goodbye. Thank you.
Yeah.